Welcome to Offstage with Jordan Baylor, where you'll discover the stories behind the movers and shakers in the entertainment and business world. Now here's your host, Jordan Baylor.
Welcome to another episode of Offstage with Jordan Baylor. This is episode 4, and in this series, I interview people behind the scenes of entertainment and business. People shaking things up, making things happen. And if there ever was a guest befitting of the show's thesis, it's definitely Stephen S. Paul, or Stephan. Depends on who you're talking to. If you have the check, you can call him whatever you like, honestly. Just make sure you call him the set on time. Stephan is an actor friend of mine of close to 10 years who moved to LA with hopes of becoming a big time actor. I know. While he has the talent, everyone knows that LA is filled with millions of hopefuls just like him. But everyone there doesn't have what Stephan has. Stephan has a deep ability to have an extreme monofocus on big goals and chip them away slowly. And he digs deep within and works nauseatingly long. So if he wants something, it's like getting between a dog and a bone, which I honestly don't advise. I've done that before. He's taken his gift for work ethic and used it to reinvent himself as a photographer and videographer who in less than 3 years has gone from beginner who just wanted to be in front of the camera to shooting digital content for BET magazine cover for Nicole Ari Parker, countless Instagram models, and basically establishing himself from the pack as a go-to visual content creator in Los Angeles. In the interview, we discuss what it takes to make it in LA, how to armor yourself if you're trying to move there, the power of reinvention, and more. It is with my due pleasure I bring to you Stephen S. Paul. Let's get into it. So, who is Steph Paul?
My mother named me Stephen Fields. The streets called me Steph Paul. I'm an actor at heart. That's where my heart is. I started and I transitioned into photography, just to kind of, number one, to pay my bills because it's really expensive in LA. Two, to kind of keep my creative juices going. Acting was it is tough is not the word I'm looking for, but it kind of beats you down a little bit because you deal with a lot of rejection until you get that one yes. And so being in that space and not really knowing what you did or didn't do to get a yes leaves you in this real weird space. And so I needed something to keep me in a creative space where I was cool with getting a no and still being able to create what was in my head. Kind of gave me the freedom. And so I got into photography, and it was literally just a hobby to kind of pass the time. And I got good at it. And so now that's just what I do.
So LA kind of, I would say, I like to tell people before they consider moving to LA that it treats people like a, those pickup artists, how they pick up women in the nightclub and they tell you the first thing that you're supposed to do is neg a woman and make them doubt that they're pretty. I feel like LA does that to everybody. It's like, you're not pretty enough. You're not good enough. You're not the best actor. And it just negs you until you just constantly are questioning sometimes your self-worth. So
that is probably one of the truest statements I've heard in a long time, because once you enter this place, understanding you're moving to Hollywood. So Hollywood is, lights, cameras, action, and that's cool. And so if you're coming from a place where it's like, oh, okay, I'm the best, quickly you'll understand that it's not about you being the best. And that little balloon will be deflated, and LA will make you do everything else than what you came out here to do. And it's a part of the culture. It's like you come in like, oh, I'm acting. No, I'm not. Oh, okay. I'm going to work at Disneyland. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to be a waiter, or I'm going to go get a regular 9 to 5, or you may even end up homeless. That is how the decline happens. And if you don't know who you are before you get here, you're lost, man. Seriously, you have to have some type of foundation and strength to endure just the days in LA. LA is very difficult. It's not for the faint heart. And you have to understand there are geniuses, creative geniuses moving here every 5 minutes. So who the hell are you?
Wow. So what should I expect if I hope to gain a foot of traction when I move to LA? Like, if I'm hoping to move, or like, what should I have in my bag for me? I'm an actor. I want to move to LA. I know it's cliche, but what should I do?
Man, honestly, man, I felt like I moved here with everything. Like I had a real headshots. I had an agent. That like I don't know, that question is so, I can't really give you a definitive answer because you can have all those things and still nothing happens. Like I have a lot of friends that were on TV shows 2 or 3 years ago and now they are on nothing. They're doing nothing. Like it's just like, okay, when's my next job coming? And then I have a lot of friends that are extremely talented but still waiting for that break. And so you can have all the tools you need. I think what you hear all the time is, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That is the honest to God truth. It's who you know in this town. And you have to make a name for yourself. Now, how you go about making a name for yourself, that's a different journey. But you have to know people in order to get you through certain doors. And you could be as talented as you want to, but it doesn't mean you're going to walk through that door.
So I've known you a long time. You've been in LA, you've done some roles, bit parts in true crime series. I think you did a bit part in NBC series.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, Steph, or Stephan, as I call you. It's really good. He's really doing it. He's really trying to make it. So you're in LA to become an actor. So you run into a wall. Why did you stop? What made you pivot and put your attention towards camera work and photography?
Honestly, man, I think Jordan, like ever since I've known you, I think I always truly had an eye for it and wanted to do it. I just never did it. And running into the wall here, like I remember moving here, and I think it was like right after you left, I started working for the city. And
City of LA?
Yeah, City of LA. And it was more or less like, okay, my bills need to get paid. I'm going to be on the street. I need to get a job. My friend that I know here was working for the city. He got me a job. So I'm working for the city and I'm just so depressed. And I'm like, yo, like, why can't I just make it? And the crazy thing about it is that every time I wanted to walk away from it completely, I would get an audition. I'm like, this is about the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. Like, this is bothering me. And so what I did was I was like, okay. And so I had a roommate at the time. He was a photographer. And I would watch him shoot. And I was like, yo, this is dope. And so like he would do like black and white pictures and stuff. And I was just like, I want to do this. And so he would teach me, but I didn't have a camera. So one day I went and, took my little rent check, which was stupid, and bought me a camera. And I was like, I want to try this. And so I just started shooting anything and everything. And it just gave me like a relief. Like I was like, okay, cool, I'm good. And for a long time, I think 2 years, maybe 2, going on 3, like I didn't do any acting. Like I didn't look for it, none of that shit. Like I just backed all the way off. And I remember going to acting classes the beginning of this year. And so my acting coach was like, yo, like, why is it taking so long to get back to class? And I was just like, I got tired of getting beat up. I was like, I literally felt like I was in a ring fighting a heavyweight champion, and he was just whooping my ass. And I was like, yep, I'm tired. You won. You Mike Tyson the shit out of me. I'm done. And so I'm serious. I was done, man. I was done. I was like, yo. And so I had to have a real moment with myself. And I was like, Stephan, like, what do you really want to do? What gets you up in the morning? And it's acting. Like, and then I had to say to myself, okay, so if you can't go into the front door, go through the side door or go through the back door. And that's how, right. And that's how I got heavily into photography, because it walked me into rooms I wouldn't normally be in, like meeting people I wouldn't normally meet. And then from there, I was able to network and put myself in different positions.
Wow. So you went down the rabbit hole as far as like learning and applying techniques to your camera and your editing work. How did you balance the line between like learning and actually applying the information? Because,
man, honestly,
I know so many people get stuck on the course. Like
that's true.
Yeah, they get stuck on the course.
That's true. And like, being in Texas and watching different cinematographers and like kind of being around it, watching people do what they do, I always just kind of wanted to tell stories. And so literally my day-to-day regimen I would get up at like 5 o'clock. I would be on the train for 5:30. I would get to work at like 6:15. I would work until 3:30. I would get home about 4:30, 5 o'clock, I would then sit at my computer until maybe 12 o'clock at night, learning and like applying technique like every day. And I did that for 6 months. I didn't make any money, none of that stuff. I would just take pictures, go home, learn how to edit them, and stuff like that. And so
you were literally, you just kind of forced yourself to just be like a curator of content. You were just cranking it out.
Right.
And you were shooting something in the day, going home at night, learning something and applying it directly to the photo that night.
Right. Exactly.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah. And so when I tell you, like, my girl, like, she would get home about, let's say, midnight. Mm-hmm. I would talk to her for like 30 minutes, and then I would get back on the computer for another maybe an hour or so, and I would get up and do it all over again. And she was like, "Babe, like, you're not tired?" And I was exhausted, but I was like, it has to be another way. And so one day, one of my friends saw my work and was like, "Hey, like, can I book you?" And it was like, "What do you charge?" And I was just like, "I don't know, like
$30."
You know. Right.
How much money you got in your pocket?
Right, yeah, what you got? Give it to me. I'm telling you, fool, that's exactly how it was. And so from there, like, it was kind of word of mouth, like, oh yeah, like, you know, this guy Steph, like, you know, he's doing this and he's doing that. And so people really started noticing me for my photography. But I was doing like urban video vixen photography. And the way even though it was cool, mm-hmm. I wasn't being challenged. I was just taking pictures of, like, you know, beautiful models, like, with the ass out and shit. And I was just like, this is cool, but there's no creativity in this. How can I make this creative? And a lot of the models that I would shoot with, I would always ask them, I know you booked me for this, but can we try something else? And it was a line that I didn't want to cross, because I knew what people wanted in LA, and mm-hmm. I didn't know if they wanted what I wanted. I wanted to give them something creativity, but they wanted ass and titties. And so I was like, okay, well, let me just give them the ass and titties. I don't want to mess that up. And so one day I did a shoot, and I did a levitation shoot.
Bring me my ass and titties.
Right, that's exactly what they were doing. So I did a levitation.
But they were using it for their the portfolios and stuff. So it's like they knew what the magazines wanted, all jokes aside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One girl took a chance on me. She let me do like a levitation shoot, and she posted it. And like everybody was like, "Yo, who the hell did this? Where's he at? I want to do this too." And I was just like, "Oh, you like stuff like this?" And so I had to make a real decision. I was like, "Do I do this what people want, or do I do what I want to do?" And so I literally said, "You know what? I'm gonna do the creative stuff." And I literally switched over to like high fashion editorial, and I started there 2.5, 3 years ago. I made that choice, and I never went back. Like, it was all creativity. Like, anything I saw, like dealing with paint, shadows, spotlights, levitation, like you know, the seamless black and whites, like anything you can think of that has to do with creativity and not just giving you a plain picture, ass and titties. That's where I was. And for the longest, like I said, I made no money. I made nothing. One of my friends booked me for a family Christmas party, and that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago now. Booked me for a family Christmas party.
Ever since?
Been making money ever since.
Wow. So how would you describe your own working style since you landed that shoot and you've been able to choose all the content that's been coming to you, all the work you've been booking? How do you work? What's your style?
Honestly, man, I sit in front of, now I'm not the same person like I used to be when I was back in Texas. I'm really reclusive now. So like majority of my days, I'm either shooting or editing. And so when I'm not editing, I'm learning. And so majority, like, I would go sit in my living room, sit on my MacBook, and I put on a little Frank Sinatra or Anita Baker, have me some Jack on the side of me, and I'm drinking and I'm editing, and that's just what I do. I watch a lot of tutorials. I watch a lot of people approach different things, and like because editing is not one particular rule. It's like, oh, you do it this way, this is how you do it. No, like, it's whatever you see fit. And I try to look at everything where it comes to like really, really gritty pictures with like HDR filters over it, or like high end retouching the skin and like keeping the texture in the pores and stuff. I watch all those things and I'm like, you just never know in what settings someone will book you for. And I want to be able to touch a little bit of everything and not just be this guy that just does this. Now that's cool, but where I'm at in my head, I'm like, why can't I do everything? Why can't I? So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm consistently learning. And so my day to day, I may be on the computer about a good 10 to 12 hours
a day.
Like, yeah, daily. Like just sitting there, like either I'm editing, learning, reading different articles on how they went about doing this, like all that.
Man, that's hot. So you shoot a lot of models in LA and they're literally everywhere. You can like step outside, throw a rock and hit a aspiring model.
Right.
It's just LA. But how do you batch process your shooting schedule to create like all this content? Like, how do you not spread yourself thin?
See, that's the thing about it though. Like when you're trying, mind you, everyone out here is an actor, singer, dancer, photographer, you name it, that's what they are. So to separate yourself from the masses, you have to give them something that they're not getting. And so at times and moments, I do stretch myself thin because I'm trying to keep up with what's happening. There was a shift about a year ago where photographers could not only be photographers, they had to be able to learn videography. I knew nothing about it. I've been in front of the camera. I've never been behind the camera in that aspect. And so, I had literally had to take a quick crash course on how to do video. And I was like, oh my fucking God, like I'm going to lose this game or this race because I'm still learning photography. I damn sure don't know about videography. And I'd literally stretched myself thin for like maybe 4 or 5 months. Like I'd got no rest. I was just up, shooting, learning, sleep, up, like just like a zombie. And my girl was like, yo, like you got to chill. To the point where, like, I even had to go to the doctor. But I was like, yo, I feel like I'm about to die. And they were just like, nah, you're not going to die. You just need to get some rest. But
where does the passion for photography come like this? Like,
man, honestly, man,
it seems like you love it more than acting. I'm going to be honest with you.
And that's the crazy thing about it. I was just talking to my acting coach the other night. And she was telling me, she was just like, it's really dope to kind of watch you blossom in this place you're in. Photography has really truly helped me with my acting. And when I say that, I mean it really helped me understand that it's all art, and whatever way you want to put it together, it's still art. And so even me taking time to go to class and learn and not be in the camera as much as I feel like I should be, I'm still like learning and I'm still teaching myself. And because I'm not physically acting in front of the camera, I'm still acting behind the camera and I'm learning everything around it. And so it's like, and so she was telling me, she was just like, it's just dope to see that you're changing dimensions and you're not just one dimensional. You're not just this person I met that was like, oh, all I want to do is act. I don't care about anything else. Like you really love the art and how you put it together, the whole story, the whole package. And it's done so much for me. Like I feel like if I would have never found photography, I promise you, Jordan, like, fuck this shit. I'd have been shooting porn a long time ago, and I wouldn't be doing none of this.
So that's how it happens. That's how you go out to LA and you end up in a porno.
Yep.
You can't. Yeah, it just happened. You just got rejected by Hollywood, and just like, well,
fuck it.
It is what it is.
Mama, we made it.
I can't with you. Okay, all right.
Man.
Moving on. All right. So I'm an aspiring photographer in Ohio, and I don't have access to super hot models that are in LA. What do I need to do to get where you are, and how do I network with models?
So I'm gonna tell you something, man. The crazy thing about it is that, like, I thought that there was like a particular formula that you had to have and things that you just need. All you need is a camera and creativity. There's a girl that I follow on Instagram. Her name is Kimberly. Kimberly.
I just discovered her.
Yes,
the girl that does the shoots in her room. Yeah.
Yo, when I tell you all you need is a camera and creativity, she is amazing.
Yeah, she did the photo shoot with the trash can.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Literally, she said, I wanted to be a model. I wasn't getting anything, so I started doing it myself. When I tell you, you doing your own thing and letting the world decide if it's dope or not, that sounds really bad, but it's so cool because at that point you literally walk to your own beat and you do whatever makes you happy. This girl literally sits in her room and creates stuff. She's amazing, but she took a chance. She gambled on herself. She didn't wait for anything. She just did it. And it's so crazy that people are always saying, man, sometimes you just got to do it yourself. It's the honest to God truth. If you look at some of the people, and think about Issa Rae. Issa Rae gambled on herself. She took a chance on herself. Issa Rae literally shot her own content for years, built a following. Now she is who she is today. You literally just need you. That's all you need.
So
and if you don't know how to do something, learn it. Yeah, that's it.
And if you don't know how to do something in this day and age, it's like, come on, man. You
tripping, man. It's at
go on YouTube. Go on YouTube. Go bootleg a course, a digital course. Like there's something somewhere. Somebody has the information. Right. And you can, if you try hard enough, you can get it for free. If you try hard enough. I'm not saying go bootleg a course, but if you don't have the money for the course, go figure it out. I don't know what to tell you.
Right, man. YouTube, man. It's everywhere.
Yeah. So, okay. So how did you get from being an aspiring photographer to doing it full time, like for a living? Like, when did you know what? I'm no longer an aspiring photographer. Like, I'm pro status now. When did you feel like you made it? I'm not made it, but
Right. No. You know what's funny though? I swear to God, I still feel like I'm aspiring. I don't feel like I've made it.
So you kind of have like imposter syndrome a little bit, like a little bit of you.
I do. Dead ass. Like, because out here, like, you got to think about it. Like, the magnitude and the 6 degrees of separation of all these celebrities that are in the city and all the things that they're doing. And then, like, I'm on a smaller scale. Like, when you think about Tinseltown, I'm not really taking pictures like that or in that type of production. So, like, I don't feel like I made it. I'm still climbing. I'm still trying to create something where people, the world, or the masses notice. Every day is like, it's a gamble. I wake up like, okay, let's see if we're going to get this today. If not, I'm on the block. I'm selling drugs. I'm doing whatever. But there was a moment where it did shift, and I realized that people love what I did. It was a real moment.
Talk about that.
I was doing a campaign, a product line, for this singer out here, and I didn't know her. She knew who I was, and she had been following me. And this stylist kind of threw me the oop. And she sat me down, and so she was like, yo, like, I've been wanting to work with you for a minute. And when she said it, I was like, me? And she was like, yeah. She was like, your creativity, like how you put colors together, you're so dope. And I was like, whoa, me? And at that point, I was like, and so she was like, all of my friends like it. And mind you, she has like 3.8 million followers on Instagram. So I'm just like,
wow. Who was it?
Okay. Girl, her name is, hold on.
She says all these nice things. You can't remember her name. Wow. LA really is fake, huh?
Nope. I'm not good with names, Jordan. You know this. Don't do this.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow. You're going to do that? You're going to be that guy? Her name is Alex. Alex Stye. Stye.
Okay. Stye?
S-T-Y-E. Yeah. But yeah, man, like, after that, I was like, okay. People fool with me, and then from there, I'm not gonna say it was a level of comfort. Like, okay, I have something that people want, and then I just kind of started just really being comfortable and like creating what I wanted, and doing how I felt I wanted to do it. Now this new journey I'm on, it's really, really fascinating. It's cool.
What is it?
So now, like I said, there was a shift like a year ago in LA where all your photographers had to learn video. And so doing cinematography is time consuming, tedious, it's draining. It's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But it's so cool to tell a complete story and you tell it how you see it in your head. That's just amazing. Like, it almost gives me the same gratification as acting does. It almost does. Photography is cool. Cinematography is amazing because the point of view, and I tell people all the time, like we were talking the other day, like, I'm literally giving you something you've already seen. I'm just giving you my perspective. And I've only been doing it for like 8 months now, and people really, really fooled me. Like the things that I've done with cinematography, I wasn't able to do with photography. The rooms that I walked in, the people that I've been talking to, they were not checking for me when I was just doing photography. They liked my work, but I wasn't able to go into the room. Now, I'm in different rooms, man, with different people, and it's different because I ain't being cocky, but it's like you walk in and like, wow, like they need something from me. Like I'm an asset. I'm not just a fly on the wall, kind of just sitting around like, oh, okay, it's Hollywood, I'm here. No, like I walk in, they're like, yo, Steph, sit down, let's talk, let's figure out how we can make this work. I'm like, okay.
Wow. Yeah. So whose work has influenced you as far as becoming a cinematographer?
Man, that's a very good question. Michael Bay, Steven Spielberg, and I want to say Quentin. I want to say him.
So filmmakers,
yeah,
basically.
So yeah, filmmakers. Yeah. I'll say him too as well. And I'm caught up in this weird space, man, because I know I love action. I love action. Like I love superhero stuff. I love like a good action-packed film. Michael Bay does a really, really good job at like showcasing that throughout the gist of the film. How Quentin approaches things are so. It's kind of like eating fried chicken and it being bland, and then he goes in the cabinet and puts hot sauce on it. You'd be like, oh shit, you got the hot sauce. And so that's literally what I try to do. I try to give people a mixture of that. Like I literally give them something really, really simple, and you're just like, oh, okay. And then out of nowhere, I hit them with something like really, really fast paced and like action suspense. And then I drop you back off with something really, really calm. And you're just like, hold up, let's go back. What the
Mind you, you're doing all this in inside of like a minute because you're on Instagram.
Right, literally. And so that was one of the most difficult things that I want to say I had to learn, because mind you, I said I had to learn it in a quick time period. And I had to learn how to tell a complete story in a minute. And it's difficult because to put a body together and to leave people wanting more and not give people the masses, give people, just ass and titties and like quick transitions and stuff. It was really hard because I'm like, people are buying this quick transitions, filters and ass and titties. They're buying that. So I was just like, how do I give them something different? And
so are you storyboarding it out, or are you just finding the story in the edit?
Honestly, I'm finding the story in the edit.
Wow.
Like I never go in and like, yo, I'm gonna go in and shoot it exactly like this. I literally go in, I say, okay, I need this shot. Let me try this. Let me try that. One of the what I do before I go to any shoot is that I find the music and the sounds that I want. So whatever location that I'm in, I find the music and the sounds, and once I get the sounds and stuff packed, I know how to create the story, whatever it looks like.
Wow. I heard Scorsese works like that. I read that the other day. He has like a whole library of sounds and songs he wants to use. Like he'll write like the certain song, and he'll be like he'll write the mood on the song and be like angry, and then has like a whole library when scenes come up in movies, and he'll be like, oh, let me go to my angry library and see what song will fit right here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly how I approach it. And it's crazy, man, because I love music the way I do. I listen to a lot of like classical music, instrumentals, dark, like twisted orchestra music, like all type of stuff. And I bridge them together. I create a lot of sounds. Like I did a video the other day, last night really, and it was this girl sitting in this Cadillac, like a 1972 Continental Cadillac, and she was sitting in the car. And so literally I had a song playing on top of the video, but in the background you can hear barely Frankie Beverly and Maze, like sounding like it was on like in a radio. And then I had like outside convenience sound music, like people walking in and out of the store. And then I had like low wind blowing in the background, just kind of paint the whole scene. And so when I was showing it to another editor, it was like, hold up, time out. do you hear all the sounds that you, like, how did you precisely, and in my head, it won't make sense until the sounds make sense. I can put anything together, but if the sounds don't make sense to me, I'm done. And it could take me 30 minutes to find sounds, or it could take me at least 2 weeks, depending on the mood that I'm trying to create.
So you like to establish the mood or the tone first, and then figure out what it is you're going to shoot.
Right. Yeah.
So say somebody comes to you with a shoot already, they like have all the visuals already figured out. You start with, how do you start?
So literally I have a shoot in about an hour or so, and they've already given me the song choice, the mood they want. I go in, listen to the song, and then I find a way to take their, let's say, commercial song and add my own sounds to it to create a bigger mood. And then I go in and, I shoot.
Wow. What's your process for getting what you need out of your subjects?
It just depends, man. It depends on the particular person, because I've dealt with some really, really just kind of, jittery, outspoken, very outgoing type people. And then I've dealt with some like really, really shy, timid, reclusive, don't really want to get out of their own way type things. It just depends on like what the mood is and what I want. I haven't run into people that haven't given me what I wanted a lot. I've done it maybe once or twice, but I'm still able to pull something out of it. But literally, I just kind of talk to them. Like, because I'm an actor first before anything, I know the conversation. I know, what you need to hear, or what I need to say to you to make you feel comfortable in order for you to move the way I need you to move in this particular scene. So that always helps me out, being an actor first. And so when I'm talking to my different subjects, I'm like, yo, approach it this way, or, walk this way, or when you're walking, look this way and then look off. Like, I'm always able to give them what they need to get to the next place.
I love that.
Yeah.
So visually, the ultimate goal for you right now is to be an actor or an established videographer or established filmmaker? Or what's the end goal now? Because it started off as a seed with you going to LA to become an actor. And now you're an established photographer, established videographer for celebrities, and you've shot magazine covers and all the likes. Like, I can't even keep up with all the work that you've done. Like, it's crazy.
But it's crazy thing about it is that I don't even post half the stuff I do. Like, half the stuff, like, be sitting there and they be like, yo, why don't you put this up, man? Everybody will love it. I'm just like, whatever. Who cares? Keep going. But the end game for me now, I still want to be an actor. And so if I have to be an established filmmaker first, and so I can insert myself into my own content, then that's what I'm going to do.
Kind of like Jordan Peele or something, just backwards.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's still the end game for me. I'm just taking another route.
Wow. I love that. Is there anything you want to leave the audience with?
I could be transparent. I could be honest.
Yeah, do it.
Man, whatever you do, man, just always bet on yourself. Don't doubt yourself. However you were created, whatever way you come, there are people out there that love what you do and how you do it. And only you can do what you do. And you have to showcase it in a manner where people want it, whatever it is. And so always bet on yourself, man. Don't wait on anybody. I think that's the best advice that I would give myself 6 years ago. Don't wait on anybody. Just do it yourself. I
love that. How can the people find you?
I'm on Instagram. I am _ Steph, STEPH .Paul, PAUL _ Yeah, and that's where I be, man. And I'm not there all the time, but I'll be there sometime.
All right. So, thank you for your time, Steph.
Yes, man. Yes, it's all love, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Peace.
Thank you for listening to Offstage with Jordan Baylor. Now go forth and create.